Neighbors say the parents tried to get back in the house to save their boys, but the flames were just too intense. We're in Knott County, where investigators are trying to determine what caused the deadly fire.
A person checking on a family member makes a gruesome discovery tonight. Danville police are trying to figure out what happened inside this home.
These clowns, one of them's going to get shot.
And another Kentucky community dealing with a clown sighting, only this report is more frightening.
This is WKYT News at 5.
Just a tragic story out of eastern Kentucky tonight. Two 4-year-old boys, identical twins, died in an early morning fire.
It happened near the Lackey community, just inside the Knott County line. The child's parents and a sibling were able to make it out of the fire. WKYT's Severa Rayford is in Knott County with our top story at 5.
The family that lives next door to the home says the fire started in the back. Kimberly Hort says when she ran outside, she saw everyone that lived in the home except for 2 little boys. Hort says her dog's barking woke her up. She says when she looked outside, she saw a flash of light in the dark and knew something was wrong. When she went outside, she says she saw neighbors screaming that her 2 little boys were in the back of the home. Hort says that part of the home was engulfed in flames. Her son says he immediately tried to help his neighbors by using a garden hose to put out the fire. He says he was able to stop the fire from spreading, but he couldn't get into the window of the 4-year-old boy's room. When firefighters arrived, they tried to rescue the boys, but the flames were too powerful.
When they got here, I just kept the back side of the house suppressed with the water hose, but it wasn't much help. I just kept the hen houses from catching fire and spreading.
Hort says her neighbors told her that they think the fire may have started from an electrical short. Police are still investigating. In Knott County, Severa Rayford, WKYT.
And the Red Cross has been on scene today helping with the family deal with that loss.
Police are looking for answers tonight after a man was found dead inside a home today in Danville. It's been a very active scene on East Broadway this afternoon, with police going door to door asking neighbors if they saw anything. WKYT's Garrett Weimer's live in Danville with the very latest. Garrett?
Yeah, police in Danville say they were called out here this morning when a family member came to check on a relative and found him dead. Investigators have been out here ever since, and as you said, it has been an active scene all throughout the afternoon. Police say 72-year-old Dawson Sears lived in the home here at the corner of East Broadway and North 1st Street. They say they're investigating his death with the help of Kentucky State Police because there is no obvious cause of death. Police have been out here for hours, but they've not released many details. We did see police go door to door at neighbors' homes, and we saw a yellow car towed away. Police say it's all part of the investigation. Danville Police Chief Tony Gray could not say whether they suspect foul play.
We really do not know, or we don't have any idea on his cause of death at this time. So I can't really comment or speculate on anything like that. I don't think there's anything for neighbors to be concerned about, but like I said, we are very, very early in this investigation.
Police are still on the scene here, although we've seen some leave in the past few minutes. And there's also an ambulance that pulled up a little bit ago, but it has just recently left the scene as well. Live in Danville, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
And we will continue to track the investigation. Garrett will have another live report from Danville on WKYT News at 6.
Police are stepping up patrols around a walking trail in Winchester after a woman reported she was attacked by a man wearing a clown mask. The woman told police it happened last night on the trail at the corner of Bypass Road and Colby Road. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is tracking the investigation from Clark County.
Winchester police say the victim was at this walking trail around 8:30 Thursday night when a man wearing a clown mask popped out of the tree line trying to carry her off into the wooded area.
It's got me a little bit concerned.
Police say the attack happened after dark, a time when the trail is technically closed. It is a popular spot for walkers in Clark County. The trail set in a field off of the bypass. Investigators say the victim reported that she was walking in that area when the man in a clown mask tried to pick her up and take her into the woods. They say the woman was able to fight him off and run away to safety. Walkers on the trail say any attack like this is alarming, but the fact the man was wearing a clown mask is even more disturbing.
Even if it's people just joking around, I think it's a concern because somebody's going to get hurt. whether it be the clown or somebody, you know, these clowns, one of them's going to get shot.
Police say thankfully that woman was not treated for any injuries. In Winchester, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Winchester police say this is the first clown sighting report they've received amid the growing national trend.
A state police officer is recovering at UK Hospital tonight after totaling his cruiser in a crash. Aaron Stidham is a commercial vehicle enforcement officer. State police say he was on patrol this morning on Kentucky 21 in Madison County when he ran off the road. His cruiser hit a guardrail and turned over. Officer Caldwell's injuries are considered non-life-threatening. Security was high as two men charged in the murder of a Richmond police officer, Daniel Ellis, went back in front of a judge today.
Attorneys for one of the suspects asked the judge to take the death penalty off the table. WKYT's Michelle Chamberlain was in the hearing this morning.
There was added security today in court. Family members for Officer Daniel Ellis and Raleigh Sizemore were on hand. Sizemore entered the courtroom wearing a bulletproof vest. Judge William Klaus emphasized that he wants the case to be transparent for the community. He also reinforced to the defense the importance to keep everything moving along to ensure the trial takes place when scheduled.
Seems like we're working in molasses.
Both sides discussed the possibility of filing motions to have the venue for the trial changed. Now, Gregory Ratliff was also in court today. He's accused of leading Officer Ellis into the ambush at a Richmond home where police say Sizemore shot and killed him. Judge Klaus denied a motion, saying Ratliff is still eligible for the death penalty.
We're disappointed. If the police believed him, they would not have gone into the apartment with guns drawn. They would have turned around and gone home. And they did not do so. They did not rely on Mr. Ratliff's statement, and therefore we don't believe that he is responsible for Officer Ellis's death.
I spoke with Eric Ellis, Daniel's brother, following today's hearing. He told me he just keeps playing everything over and over in his head as that one-year anniversary approaches of his brother's death. He says he's just ready for the trial to begin. That trial date is set for July 5th, 2017. In Richmond, Michelle Chamberlain, WKYT.
Both men will be back in court for a status hearing on December 9th.
Pretty much a nice end of September with comfortable temperatures and even a little sun out there. So how will October begin? Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey's in the First Alert Weather Center with an early look at the forecast. Chris?
Yeah, not a whole lot of change as we make our way into the first at least day or so of October. Area of low pressures right on top of the Bluegrass State, and the center of circulation with this low showing up very well just to the southwest of Louisville. Look at the temperatures out ahead of that where we've had a little sunshine, low and mid 60s. Where we're getting in on some clouds now, Danville to Fort Knox where we've had some showers. How about upper 50s? And you know what's going to happen? That little pocket of upper 50s is going to sweep into the Bluegrass region over the next couple of hours. Across the entire Ohio Valley, under that low, all the numbers are a little cooler than what we should be seeing for that final day for September. There's the low itself. That is photogenic. It is showing off right now with a little sliver of some sun into parts of central and eastern Kentucky, west of 75. Clouds are thickening with some gusty showers and maybe some rumbles of thunder around Bowling Green, trying to rotate in around that low. So Bluegrass region, watch the southwestern sky for the possibility for a little shower or two coming our way. Here's a little better look as we take the clouds off there. That future radar is showing the spin very well as we go through the evening. And again, one or two showers will be a possibility coming around that center of low pressure, guys. We'll let you know what that means for the weekend forecast. Brand new hour-by-hour outlook in just a few.
Investigators are still working to figure out the cause of a deadly commuter train crash in New Jersey. NTSB investigators have recovered the black box, which should reveal how fast that train was going. Witnesses say the train was traveling too fast when it slammed into barriers, went airborne, and plowed into a wall at the station. A 34-year-old woman died in the crash. More than 100 others were injured. Former Israeli President Shimon Peres has been laid to rest. World leaders, including President Obama and former President Bill Clinton, attended this morning's funeral in Jerusalem. Peres won a Nobel Peace Prize for his negotiations with Palestinians. In his eulogy, the president praised Peres as a man who saw all people as deserving of dignity and respect.
Tomorrow will be another running of the Race for the Cure in Lexington. In 10 minutes here on WKYT News at 5, meet some of the women who helped bring one of the region's most successful fundraisers to fight cancer to town.
And is it safe to eat food that has fallen on the floor within 5 seconds? In Better Living, a new study takes a closer look at whether that's fact or fiction.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Happy Friday, everybody. Weekend is here. It's after 5 o'clock. Forget about the work week. We're now in weekend mode, and we are about to wrap up the month of September. How hard is that to believe? Let's roll outside and let's roll through a cool evening that is kicking off. Upper 50s to low 60s, central Kentucky, low and mid 60s across the east. Here's the low pressure center. If you look at the green, you can actually see how it is showing up around a little comma head on that area of low pressure that is off to our west. We're looking toward the southwestern sky. Look at that wall of clouds heading back into Lexington. So after a little sunshine this afternoon, clouds are beginning to filter back in. Winds, at least right now, from the southwest. That isn't necessarily going to warm you up. Southwesterly winds typically are warmer, not when you're trapped under a big old pocket of cold air upstairs, and that's what we've got out there. Here's that low pressure. You see the clouds that are coming back in from the west and the southwest. The sunshine from earlier in the day, hey, it's still there. It's just pushing into parts of eastern Kentucky. Notice a little rain that is showing up as well. Broaden that view out, and my goodness, look at how much real estate is covered by this low pressure center that we've got showing up. And you look at that and you think, boy, that kind of looks like a hurricane. Well, not exactly, but it is the same principle with a big area of low pressure and everything spinning around it. Something else to watch for tonight and early tomorrow morning, fog that can be locally dense, and it may in some areas be widespread. Got to get the winds to go calm where you live in order to get that fog to really thicken up, and I think that's at least a good possibility tomorrow morning. Look at this at 6 in the morning. Visibility for Lexington, at least on this computer model, a goose egg, 0, and under a mile for much of central and eastern Kentucky. And one of the best ways to see just how thick that fog may be is we look at noon tomorrow. Why are we looking at noon tomorrow to see how thick the fog may be in the morning? Well, this is showing how slow that fog burns away. So even at noon tomorrow, we've got a little fog trying to hang tough into parts of central and southwestern parts of the area. Get into the afternoon, like today, a mix of sun and clouds, can be a scattered shower or thunderstorm, but slowly this weekend, into the first few days of October, we start to see that low that started in Michigan, made its way into Kentucky, head back to Michigan. Guess it's going to just head back where it started from as high pressure to our south and southwest starts to take a little more control of the weather pattern across central and eastern Kentucky. So there's a chance for an isolated shower storm tomorrow and into Sunday, but you'll have a lot of dry times out there. Fog the next 3 mornings can be very, very dense, guys. Into the early part of next week, we look good. Last of the week, we'll see some more showers and storms and cooler weather.
It doesn't normally stick around till noon, does it? I mean, that's pretty intense.
Right, and what'll happen, it may start to lift, and you think it's low clouds, and all of a sudden you see a little sunshine in the middle of the afternoon.
All right, well, thanks.
Couple of problems right now, including a new accident, I-75 North. This is at the 115. Now, it's a non-injury, but the vehicle is in the fast lane there. So police are trying to get a record and get that moved out. That's I-75 North at the 115. Also a crash at Russell Cave and Faulkner. That is an injury collision, still blocking part of that intersection. Drive times this afternoon to Versailles, less than 13 minutes. To Paris, about 25. Now back to the studio.
A jump at the pump today in 6 minutes. Find out why gas prices spiked here in Lexington.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Saturday will mark another annual Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure in downtown Lexington.
Today, volunteers with Komen, Kentucky were busy setting up for the big race tomorrow morning in downtown Lexington. Nearly 2 decades ago, the idea to bring the race to central Kentucky was the work of a dedicated group of women who just happened to love running. Tonight, how they made a difference and helped in the fight against breast cancer. There are great memories to be relived here inside this Lexington bakery.
We didn't know what we were doing.
Many years ago, it was a weekly meeting spot for Victoria Meyer and her girlfriends after their morning runs.
We all had those windsuit things.
In the late 90s, these friends noticed a particular subject kept coming up in their conversations.
We were in our early 40s, late 30s, early 40s. Friends and acquaintances were having bad experiences with breast cancer, and it scared us.
As runners, they kept hearing about Race for the Cure runs being held to support breast cancer research.
We registered for Boston Race for the Cure, got shirts, and ran our own route on that morning.
The idea was born. Lexington needed its own Race for the Cure. Meyer and Short were among the original planning team.
Every family member and friend was roped into doing heavy, hard work.
That first race was held in April of 1997 at the Kentucky Horse Park, and it blew them away.
We thought we'd have, what did we say, between 500 and 900 people. And when we opened up that pack that said 3,000.
Over the last 2 decades, what they started has become a successful race, resulting in countless dollars being raised in the fight against breast cancer.
Really gratifying to think that you had a part in bringing it in and getting it started here.
Even though they don't run anymore, looking back is like a run down memory lane. They have all remained friends, and all these years later feel fortunate to have helped start something so important.
When you see how many women contribute in this community, and that's part of inspiring the next generation, is they can see what, ordinary people have done.
Well, they sure did something great. The Race for the Cure starts tomorrow morning at 9. The Survivor Parade will take place about 8:30 at the Robert F. Stevens Courthouse in downtown Lexington.
If you're planning to hit the road this weekend, be prepared to pay up. Gas prices in Lexington spiking more than 20 cents this morning. Newly released numbers from AAA show Kentucky gas stations increased prices from $2.19 to $2.39. Lexington drivers are paying more at the pump, and they're not too happy about it.
I think all of the pricing's artificial. I think it's just everyone gets together and collaborates and say, hey, let's raise gas prices, and that'll stimulate the economy. I'm not sure if it will or not. I'm sure they're going to stay high until the election.
The spike comes after OPEC nations reached a preliminary deal to cut oil production for the first time in 8 years. That immediately pushed up the price of gas overnight. Right now, the average gas price in Lexington is $2.31 a gallon. They moved into a Frankfort home this summer, but neighbors tell us they knew something was wrong. Now a mother and son face charges. Story ahead on WKYT News at 5:30.
The Food and Drug Administration has approved a new device that could change the lives of millions of people living with type 1 diabetes. That story next in Better Living. It's time now for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. The Food and Drug Administration has just approved a new device that could change the lives of millions of people living with type 1 diabetes. The so-called artificial pancreas can monitor and administer insulin. Dr. Max Gomez has more.
Katie Helm was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when she was just 5 years old. In the 21 years since, keeping her blood sugar within a narrow, normal range has been a constant struggle.
I'm constantly evaluating my situations. Where am I going? What am I doing? Is that going to affect my blood sugar levels?
For most diabetics, that means a difficult, never-ending routine of checking blood sugar, watching what they eat, and calculating insulin doses. But Katie took part in a clinical trial of an innovative device that's been dubbed an artificial pancreas.
This is my sugar level at the moment.
It combines a continuous glucose monitor that reads your blood sugar every 5 minutes and then sends the information wirelessly to an insulin pump that releases the precise amount of insulin automatically. The key is a computer algorithm that does those calculations faster and more accurately than any patient can.
It looks at the numbers from a moment-to-moment basis and will proactively predict what's going to happen next and make clinical decisions that cannot be done at that rate.
Derek Rapp is the CEO of JDRF International, which funded much of the development of the artificial pancreas.
It means peace of mind for them and for their loved ones.
Katie showed me how her device helps keep her blood sugar in very tight control, critical to preventing the terrible complications of diabetes. But it's also given her peace of mind.
It's really changed my life. It's made managing my type 1 diabetes considerably easier.
Dr. Max Gomez, CBS News, New York.
Experts say this system is also groundbreaking because it can more effectively manage diabetes overnight when people are sleeping. You've probably heard of the 5-second rule. That's when you pick up food you drop within 5 seconds and you convince yourself it is safe to eat. Researchers from Rutgers University say they've debunked the rule. They drop various foods on different types of floors. Then they examined bacteria levels on the food, and for some of the items, contamination was instant. Researchers say the contamination level depends on how dirty the floor is. Dunkin' Donuts is teaming up with Coca-Cola to launch bottled coffee. The deal will make Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee available for purchase in grocery stores and convenience stores nationwide. The partnership will rival Pepsi's deal with Starbucks. This ready-to-drink coffee is set to hit stores next year. Now, here's what's coming up for you at 5:30.